There it is.
Perfect.
Welcome,
Now,
everyone. Thank you guys for joining. Um, I wanted to start by introducing myself. I am Amanda, the head of the Customer Success Managers team here at A Teamwork. And we have over here some very talented people. Today, we're going to talk about QA and the importance of it on our industry. Also, about AI and how to use it properly to make more efficient the workload on QA. Um, I wanted to go over the agenda first, and also introduce you to our speakers. We have over here Andrew, who is the CEO of A Teamwork, um,
hello, everyone.
and we also have Pablo, who's an amazing developer from our team, and he's been working on AI with Quicksilver and has some interesting ideas to share. We also have Rob Kamhe here, who is the CRO of OnScript AI, and he also has a very interesting input to share about the strategic role of QA. And of course, Anabela Porado, who is the QA director at Ringlab Media. So
Hi
I just
everyone.
wanted to, I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys um, introduce yourself a little bit. I wanted to start with Andrew, and for you to just talk a little bit about who you are and about A Team, and just kind of starting over there.
Yeah, sure. So nice to see familiar faces here, and thanks for joining. So yeah, my name is Andrew Chung. I'm the founder and CEO for A Teamwork. I've been in the digital marketing lead gen industry for I don't know, like over a decade for sure, maybe 12, 13 years. And The way we actually started this company, it was out of my own needs. I was in pay per call marketing, and as many of you know, the quality, checking on the quality of those calls are very, very important. Because without that, you could potentially lose your buyers or your offer, the budget. Because there's compliance issue. You got to make sure that if you're a network and you're working with other publishers, and as long as you can trust them and you have history of working with them, sometimes it's beyond your control, those things. So out of that, I've hired my team out in Argentina to do the QA work for us, and then since then, it grew a lot. We've been in business for almost 3 years, and so basically what A Team does is, as you can see, we have a lot of like the list of services that we provide, everything from media buying to B2B prospecting, email marketing, and ops using pretty well-known platforms out there like Ring by Retriever, Leadspedia, and Alexa, and These Prosper. Like, we can support all of that for a lot of clients here in the US. Web development, marketing, content creation. So the list goes on. So we just basically enable our team. It's a plug and play basically. So if you're starting from fresh and you need team members to do all of these things to run your business, then we can provide those services cost effectively. And this goes beyond even our lead gen digital marketing industries. We also have other basically other business. Everybody needs marketing, and everybody needs ops, and everyone needs virtual staffing, for a lot of different things. And so we've been growing quite a bit, and we've grown up to actually nearly 100 people now, and so it's been growing very fast. And I'm very excited about our guests today. Both Ringlab and also OnScript. I'm sorry, and Rob. I mean, he and I go way back. I've known him for a long time. Actually, he knew me when I actually just entered the digital marketing industry. So, and he has really exciting technology that he started. And then also Ringlab and Annabelle. I know the owner of Ringlab very well, Tina, and she's also been in the industry for a very long time. And so this is just really about starting a webinar to have like real conversation about the challenges that we face, and what are the solutions that are out there. And we see a lot because of all the clients that we serve, not just for A Teamwork, but also for Unscript and also WinLab. And this is to just do mind share and create a community so that we can highlight like some of the leaders in our industry and talk about what they do and to solve problems and make their businesses grow. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew. I wanted to start with Annabelle because she's a the head of a very loved client QA team. So I just wanted to ask her and let her talk about QA and how she handles it, the team, because she uses our team for QA, but she does it in a very special way. And I wanted her to just explain her role, her leadership, and how she handles everything regarding QA. So go ahead, Annabelle.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a pleasure to be here. I haven't personally met Andrew. I don't think I did, but Tina did mention that Andrew is a really good friend, so we can't live without Andrew. Um, and Andrew's team, and just a little bit about myself. I've been in the BPO industry for a decade, and then after that, I moved into PPC paper call industry. For I've been with the industry for 7 years now. I've started doing QA, so this is the QA. Doing QA was the first thing I did when I joined the industry, and that's how I get to know the whole industry verticals and everything else that comes with it. And yeah, that's about me.
Well, thank you so much, Annabelle. I know that last time we spoke, you told me about a few cases and a few things that you've handled with your team that I think that are really interesting on the way that you have like the approach and the leadership, uh,
Hmm.
the way that you do it. You specifically told me about a case where it was um, where you just got to listen with QA that agents were having a strong accent and
Hmm. Yeah, that's
so
right. I'm not sure. Is it just me or is Amanda
No,
breaking up?
no, I can't hear you there.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it sounded like she
I think
wanted
it
you to
was me,
explain a
but I
use
was
case about someone with a language barrier that you were able to catch with your QA.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So,
yeah.
one of our buyers have a very, their agents have a very strong, almost synthetic sounding accent. And initially, our buyer flagged it as low quality. Flag the calls as low quality, and calls are not converting as well. And what our QA did is flag those calls and find out that it wasn't about it was more of like the tone and the when the customers say, can you repeat that again, I don't understand you. So similar verbatim that we get from the customer is because of the accent, right? And for us, rather than penalizing the buyers outright about what is happening, we collaborated with them to implement an AI, and also a voice harmonizer, also background noise, um, to kind of reduce all those issues that's happening within the call. And within 2 weeks of implementing and putting in AI out there to have them use it, the complaints from our publishers significantly reduced, and of course the conversion went up. So um, I could say that AI is really helping make our business better, not just for the customer side, but also on the buyer as well.
Amanda, are you able to? Can you hear us? Okay. All right. Um, all right. So, Annabelle, I think this is the area that you also want to touch on, correct? For the QA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why don't we continue on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it Annabelle frozen?
No,
yeah,
I think
we lost you a bit.
Okay. So we lost you a bit. So I think we're at the QA framework now. So I think
Ah,
Annabelle can
sorry about that. I think
go from
it's
there.
better now.
Okay. All right.
Can
Thank
you
you.
hear me now?
Yes. Yes. So let's continue.
sounds like we want Annabelle to go through her QA framework on this slide.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So you have the slide, right, Annabelle? So maybe you can touch on the QA framework.
Yeah, sorry. Well, for me, I think I just want to say how our QA process and like the whole QA framework that we've established is, um, it's effective in in the way that it builds consistency, context, and communication. And also, I would also want to point out that one major challenges we face in the QA, the whole QA process, is the disconnect between the buyer's expectations and the publisher's delivery on the leads. And what QA does is it helps bridge the gap by ensuring that calls are being reviewed not just from what was said, but also like how it was being handled by the agents. And we found out that having a clear evaluation criteria tied to the customer's intent, like, do they have an intent to book, or our compliance side of things, like the proper disclosures, the price accuracy, and misrepresentation, it all makes a difference. But what really makes a difference on our QA, our all QA process, is just the speed and like just the speed, basically. So right now we don't have a ton of QA staff, but we do work hard to QA as much calls as we can. But you know, we generate a ton of calls, and the speed is just not there yet. But and the issue with that is, if our QA team cannot flag calls fast enough, our publishers don't act on feedback, the damage is already done. That's why we don't really see QA as a policing role. It's more of like a feedback loop to help the buyers and publishers and just everyone involved to get better. And we do QA. We do set certain KPIs for our QA there, just to get everyone in check. We check for call intent alignment. We have script compliance. We have disposition taggings, call handling, drop-off rate, and even repeat violations, and for both the publishers and the buyer. So that's our whole QA framework at the moment, our whole QA process at the moment.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you, Annabelle.
You're welcome.
I wanted to ask you if you have integrated AI, or how have you integrated AI? Because I know you've tried a few, and
Mhm.
I just wanted to just have your opinion, and how's that go? How's that integrating AI for Greenlight Media so far with QA?
So far, well, we've been using AI to kind of help with transcription, mostly repetitive tasks. Um, but it definitely makes our, reviewing calls quicker. But I think we still need a human QA to catch the stuff that AI miss. Like, the tone, is there an intent there? whether a disclosure was actually properly said. But then again, it still depends on the campaign. For us, we're running mostly flight and travel. So we have a very specific way of QAing calls. And sometimes the AI that we've used is not really what we're looking for. So it's kind of hard. It was tricky. Um, Sometimes when we're using AI, we would set parameters that would answer a question like, if a customer would say, yes, I'm interested in booking, and usually the AI should tag it as a solid lead, but a human can still tell if the caller is just browsing or if it's just a shopper, right? So and that makes a big difference on how we score the calls. So far right now, using AI, we're not there yet, but we're always open to trying new things and seeing what's out there, what's available.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Annabelle.
Welcome.
I wanted to just, now that we talk about I wanted to have Rob chiming in here. Why don't you start, Rob, introducing yourself and talking a little bit about your background and basically your journey on this industry?
Sure. Thanks, Amanda. And it sounds like Ring Lab needs OnScript. But my name is Rob. I am one of the partners and the CRO of OnScript. It's an AI platform for QC compliance and agent coaching. I'm also the CEO of a performance marketing company called OneSpeed. We do a lot of work in the call space. The performance marketing industry is the only industry that I know. I got very lucky out of college to move back to New York, needed a job, found a job at this EDU lead generation company called Venture Direct, for anybody who remembers those days. And this was before pay per call. This was all digital lead gen and dealing with other types of products like ringtones and things like that. So my entire career from 2005 until today has been spent in this industry. I've worked at a variety of companies before starting my own businesses, from smaller startups to publicly traded companies. My previous role, I worked at Digital Media Solutions as one of the EVPs. I ran one of the business units there for 7 years before going out and starting OnScript and OneSpeed. So I live in Florida. I'm very happy down here from New York, married with 2 kids, and spend my time between my businesses and my family and playing some golf and tennis when I can. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And about OnScript, well, we started OnScript,
Perfect.
my partners and I, because we saw a big gap in the world of QC and QA. In our previous company, we employed a big amount of QC agents when their job was to just listen to calls all day and evaluate them. And it's not a great process for many reasons. And we sought out to build a better process. In fact, at the point that we set out to start this, I wasn't even aware of how many other companies like OnScript were out there. But there's a lot. And I think that's great, because I do believe that technology, and certainly AI, can enhance and improve QA across the board. So when we went to build OnScript, it came from the lens of operating call centers and building other types of call center technology. And this was our next venture to improve a process that we saw as broken, or one that needs improvement. And that kind of birthed OnScript. We actually started thinking about OnScript for the use case of AI agents. And there's a lot of companies who specialize now in giving AI agents and AI chat. And for a variety of reasons, we pivoted to build an AI QC platform. So that's how OnScript started. What we do, all I was going to say is, one element of OnScript is certainly like QA and compliance, right? Making sure that agents are staying on script. that compliance statements are being read appropriately. But really, the other part, and I think the more important part, is coaching. How do we get better production out of our agents? So we're not only making sure that they're saying what they're supposed to say, but we're also, and maybe more importantly, coaching on sentiment and tonality. And that's where we see the biggest lift of agent performance. We see plenty of times where top performing agents in a call center are low performing agents on scorecard. We see a direct correlation between our analysis on how the agents are sounding and how productive they are in the call center. So a main purpose of OnScript is to easily identify where the agents need help on each of the campaigns from a tonality perspective, and really coaching the agents in that regard, while also making it very easy to see where they're missing the mark on script and compliance and things like that. And then as we continue to grow, we've realized that there are other use cases. So OnScript has clients that don't even have a call center, either direct publishers who are looking to audit their calls and how their buyers are handling their calls, or affiliate networks, pay-per-call networks that are looking to keep their buyers and publishers honest and analyze calls that way as well. So we've really solved use cases for any type of business who intersects with a phone call, whether or not they have a call center.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really interesting actually to see all the case studies that you have. I'm really impressed with OnScript and the reach that it has and how it breaks down the call, all type of calls. But I wanted to talk to you about one specific case study that caught my attention, which is the marketing agency one, because it was based, like the marketing agency was using an offshore team, and we are that on a teamwork. So I just basically wanted to just talk about it with you, and you to walk us through that case study, because I think it's really valuable value for us, and just to understand better like all the benefits that it came along.
Yeah, sure. So, OnScript from a value prop and how do we help our customers? There's three main ways we help our customers. One, cost savings, and that's pretty black and white and linear. Two, efficiency gains through automations that we're able to offer via our outbound webhook. And then three is revenue gains based on agent production and improvement. So for this particular case, I've been working with a group who, like my previous company, employed all offshore agents who have to listen to calls, and then offshore supervisors who have to manage the QC agents. And with OnScript, with a usage-based model that charges for audio hours, and our base rate is lower, even in many offshore companies, than what somebody would pay for a person to do what OnScript can do. So right away, there's just immediate cost savings at the point that we integrate. And the goal is not to eliminate a QC QA team. To Annabelle's point, you need to have somebody over the top analyzing, whether they're analyzing calls or they're analyzing the data and the analysis that comes out of what we report. But really, if we think about the job of somebody who has to log in every day and listen to phone calls and report on a scorecard, it's a pretty crappy job. It's monotonous. It's not fun. There's also inaccuracies. We did a study. I think the best human QC people are accurate like no more than 85% of the time. So our goal is to be able to repurpose these roles so they can be more productive for the organization, knowing that you've got a technology in place that can solve for listening and QCing calls at a much faster rate than a human could do. So that was, mission one was to offer some immediate cost savings against their current approach, and we were able to achieve that pretty quickly. Efficiency gains. This particular company had their agents entering a lot of information into a CRM after the call. Post-call note-taking happens all the time. And part of the post-call note-taking is dispositioning. Um, we've seen agents disposition inaccurately all the time. In some cases, 30 to 40%. That's problematic because then the decision makers are looking at data and they're looking at bad data. So beyond that, other information that goes into a CRM, this takes time, and they can either take time entering into a CRM or they can take time on a phone call, qualifying and transferring the next customer. So with OnScript, we were able to automate a lot of the post-call note-taking so the agents wouldn't have to do that anymore. So there was efficiency gains that we're talking about, making agents be more productive because they're able to be on the phone more. And then the third part was just the revenue gains, which come not initially, it comes generally, we'll see marginal gains after the first month, and really by month 2 or 3 is where you'll see the biggest lift in production from agents who start on day 1 to agents who are on day 90, whether or not they're using the platform themselves, as long as the supervisor team is in there and giving that feedback to the agents. So we make it pretty easy for supervisors or the agents themselves to understand exactly what they need to do to improve their performance. And generally they're aligned to improve their performance because generally there's a variable component to their compensation. The more widgets they sell, the more transfers they transfer, the more money they make for themselves and the business.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's pretty much what we were able to accomplish with that group in that case study.
Perfect. Thank you. Something
You're
that
welcome.
really blew me away is this whole thing that you were explaining about the sentiments feature. And I think I see it as in the perspective as a customer success manager, because I'm always just looking for sentiments and listening to clients and just checking on feedback. And the idea of an AI doing that for you and breaking down a call, I know it's different, but it's just it blows my mind every time that I think about it. Um, so
Yeah, me
I
too.
really wanted to highlight this feature of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I know Annabelle talked about like how AI might be that it can't pick up like a sentimental part of the like human interaction between the agent and the potential consumer, and then we A Teamwork, we're manual based, and then I know Pablo here, like he's part of our team at A Teamwork, who built his own tool that's similar to not similar to, but it enables our QA team to do things faster. So he'll touch on that. But what I love about this whole thing right now with something like OnScript, AI tool that can do the transcription, also read sentimental kind of analysis on either the consumer or the agent, being able to coach the agents looking at the buyer, is that finally I feel like we're in a spot where, I mean, this whole AI transcription idea, I remember this 5 years ago. I really do feel like finally it's maturing, and we ourselves actually have started to work closely with OnScript because of that feature. So that we can serve our clients better as well. So I mean, this is like just like a perfect timing to where I think there's really good accurate tools that are available. And as Rob mentioned, it's not replacing the QA team, but what we're seeing on our end is that it actually enables our QA team to be more three-dimensional, not one-dimensional. Just sitting there listening to call every day, but just also have kind of a tech savviness and being able to operate a tool, which that in itself, has a lot of complexity. So you essentially still going to need some sort of operator to be able to, utilize the tool. So I think, finally we're at a point where there was a time when it's not physically possible to listen to all the calls. So you just sample 10%, or when you add on a new pub, then maybe you got to just check on them for a while. And if they're okay, then you just move on to the next one. But now we're living a time and age where it is actually possible to process all of your calls, which was not even something that we could have even imagined, like even 5 6 years ago. I just
Yeah, and I think I want to add to that. I think it's a really perfect timing because now listening to the calls, most of the calls is necessary. Like compliance are just tightening up, and a lot of things are just going on in the industry lately that you have to keep an eye on the QA. We're even building our compliance now on top of the QA because things are just, getting tight.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, I
What's
agree
next?
with that. Also, just having like feedback on real time and AI doing that for you, I think it's really helpful. I think the whole idea of AI helping the agents and not only the industry is really interesting for me. And I really congratulate you, Rob, for building that out. It's really impressive, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, very smart partners. They built out the stuff that we want. But yeah, and Andrew, it's been really great to work with your team and everything that you said. It's like giving the customer optionality and being able to leverage technology and still have humans there as needed, but not requiring somebody to have to just listen to every call to get insights and feedback. And the only other point I'll make about the sentiment part, because it's important, is um, historically a lot of groups try to give you sentiment analysis based on transcription. And that's why you're seeing some inaccuracies. It's like when you read a book and somebody's speaking, you can kind of gather, are they happy, are they angry, are they neutral, right, from reading the book, but you'd much rather listen to them. So with OnScript, we're actually analyzing both prospect and agent sentiment analysis based on the actual audio itself. And I think that's the difference in being able to report on that accurately. It's because we're actually listening to the calls and not just reading from a transcription, trying to gather is somebody happy, sad, angry, whatever. So just thought I would put that in there because it's an important piece.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, honestly. I think it's really interesting how you are working with an AI, and also Pablo from our team is working with an AI, but both have very different approaches, and like they are very different from each other. So I think it's really interesting to also to also listen to Pablo just talk about his journey with AI and how he integrated with QA. And I don't know, Pablo, if you want to start a little bit about introducing yourself and just a little bit of your background.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Pablo. I'm a member of the 18 Google Lab, who is a team of basically the brainstorming team, where along with my team members and my coworkers, we think we are constantly working on different projects in order to improve the efficiency of the whole company and look for products such like Quicksilver that could also work for clients. And yeah, I'm a developer, and I also count with a team of developers who are working on Quicksilver and many other projects right now. So yeah, nice to meet you, and I'm very happy to be here, especially around you guys, Rob and Annabelle. Let me introduce the origin of Quicksilver. Basically, it was exactly 1 year ago when I was working as a QA agent. I had to use an extremely inefficient tool. Back then, the QA process relied heavily on CSV files and Google spreadsheets that were exported directly from Rigba or TrackDrive or whatever platform. And these files had to be manually edited before we could even start the QA process. Like we have to arrange the columns and everything else. And then we had to listen all the calls and send the results to the client. It was really uncomfortable. It was a messy process, inefficient, frustrating to use. My eyes were constantly strained. As Rob said before, it's not the best job out there, to be honest. So I had a whole ritual to optimize the process. Uh, I was I did everything to make that work faster without introducing new tools. I used a lot of keyboard shortcuts. I had a specific way to move my mouse. I used audio transcriptions from Windows. I changed the player from my browser, from Google Chrome, the audio player, everything in order to make the process faster. But then I quickly realized that I needed the real problem here wasn't that it needs AI or it needs a huge platform. It needs to improve the little things. Initially, it needs to improve those small parts of the process. Because even saving 10 seconds per call, that could lead to significant gains. And at 300 calls with 10 seconds saved on every single one, it's almost 1 full hour of time. And that was my goal. And that's why I began designing based on all my practices as a QA agent, the most perfect possible interface that I could think for Quicksilver. And that's how Quicksilver development started. A teamwork funded the development of Quicksilver, and with the help of our developers, Gabo, who's actually working on a teamwork right now, we got to work. We had new features, as you can see on the slides. That's an original draft that it's terrible to, honestly today. And then we came with many different versions, and almost every week we were updating the app and seeing, hey, we can improve this and we can improve that, and this ain't working and this is good according to our QA agent. Quickly we realized that optimizing just one task, like play the audio and select a disposition, wasn't enough. So we began exploring a wider ecosystem of tools that we could integrate to the application. And then we realized that we also needed to build a brand. We had to pick a color palette and start shaping Quicksilver as a product and not only as a tool for internal efficiency. And that's when integrations came to the party. Integrations between different platforms, such like Ringba, TrackLife, or Google Workspace, became a key for Quicksilver. In the QA process, you have to work with many different platforms, and all those platforms interact in different ways, which makes everything kind of hard, honestly. And my objective was make the QA agent life as easiest as possible, and that's why we started working on that. And suddenly, with some integrations, especially with Google Spreadsheet, we completely eliminated the process of exporting and importing, and then having to share that to the client. And it became a model where you just hear calls, update, and those calls get automatically posted to spreadsheets. And then after that, Quicksilver was almost done. Like, okay, we have a solid system, we have a solid tools. The process is significantly faster, but what can we do now? And that's when, with the guidance of Andrew, we started exploring the AI features. What can we do with AI, and what can we do with AI without eliminating the QA agent in this game? And that's when we came with a hybrid model. We don't believe that AI should do all the work, and we don't think that users should rely on AI blindly. I think that we all agree on that, and that's why we built Quicksilver, thinking that AI is a powerful tool, but it's one that requires a lot of context and a lot of human direction. Just like Rob said, the agents checking if the AI is doing the job well. They need someone that is constantly tracking and seeing, hey, is this good or not? And how can we improve the prompt? And that's our focus. We are constantly encouraging our QA agents to polish the prompt. Hey, if the prompt can be more specific and can be more detailed, the AI will be better, because the AI is a tool, but every single tool in this world, it needs to be mastered by someone. So every AI powered feature on Quicksilver such like automatic dispositions, suggested notes by the AI, transcriptions, and chatbot queries. Everything comes in Quicksilver with a customizable prompt that must be written with a clear intent. And we are not aiming for a set it and forget it. We want a smart human guided automation. And that's why, and that's the part after implementing AI, when Quicksilver became a extremely powerful tool in this regard, because not only boosts the simple part of the process, like here a call, select a dispo, write a note, and go to the next one, but also relies on AI to make that select a dispo. Maybe it's not work that the AI does on its own, but maybe it's a work that where you can read the AI suggestion and see, okay, I agree or not, and see why the AI failed and how can I explain to the AI to not do that again. And well, right now the app continues to grow and improve every single week. And I hope that you all guys continue following its journey with the same attention and excitement that we put into building it.
Great. So just to add to that, yeah, Pablo just came. He joined our team on on our QA side, and he's very talented, also kind of a unique individual because he just, I mean, I didn't have any vision of like having like some tool to help, and he came on his own and say, hey, I think we're wasting time. This can be done better. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then next thing I know, he was drafting this software that we can use internally, and now we use it every day. So and to all of everyone's point here, like, I mean, we, based on our experience at A-Teamwork and serving our clients with QA, we believe that human always be affected. It's just like any kind of a revolution. There was industrial revolution, and now I guess it's AI revolution, whatever it is. There was a time when it took like 20 people to use their hand and assemble the car, and then Henry Ford changed that, right? Like they have a machine and manufacturing, blah blah blah. And so it's the same thing here. We were doing it manually, but we have all these tools, and so we just need an operator, so that and that operator can do a lot more than 10 people. Basically, that's kind of where we are today. And then just to be clear, for A-Teamwork, our position is that we focus on our human side. We have a great team out in Argentina. And we support our clients with whatever platforms that they use, whatever their choice. Whether on the tracking side, as you guys all know, there are many platform providers out there. And our viewpoint, even for any tools, including OnScript, even though we separately started to have our own journey of coming up with the technology to support our customer, I think there's different use case for different customers. And so our focus is always being aware of what's all the available tools that are out there, and then support our clients to make sure that they have the right tool. And we actually looked at other tools as well. But what I really liked about OnScript with Rob is that, first of all, he comes from the industry, so they know. I mean, I've used some other tools that come from some traditional telco company that provided transcription services, but they really don't know our industry. So the fact that this solution is tailored to our industry, I think is powerful. And then the other thing is that this whole sentimental, and especially when you're QAing your agent, we have a lot of call centers, or at the end of the day, like what Rob said, I've been in a network too, so I want to make sure that our buyers are doing their job. I mean, especially we have a lot of media buyers that are our client. We also provide content and doing media buying services, and for them, whether that call turns into a converted call, meaning billable call or not, they already spent the money. So the biggest frustration for them is they sent the call to the wrong buyer, who have agents who don't know how to engage the customer and don't do their job, right? And they're literally at the mercy of whoever the buyer is. So for that kind of use case, it's extremely important to understand how the buyers agents are well trained. Are they saying the right thing? Even though they're not the ones that have the call center, because they're the ones that are feeding those leads, and they're the ones that are upfronting the money. So where I see OnScript is really far ahead is just on that side. Just like I mean, in addition to the day to day that we do, just like flagging calls because it's an inbound. It was supposed to be an inbound, but it's a transfer. Like those type of like very basic things. Our team has been doing well, and that's where we are. But what we recognize and where I think all of our buyers and people our energy have to pay attention is there's more to it than just catching flag call. Like you need to get more insight about every call so that you know how to make better decisions. So I think that's where this whole thing can work harmoniously. With how Ring Labs using their QA team and their use case. Unscript with its powerful technology, and also us with with A teamwork with Quicksilver as well. So.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I've seen Pablo and the development team really get involved with the QA team and how they work with our clients, and just really understand what is happening and what are the pain points, and what's something that a QA member is struggling with, so they can actually help the workflow for them. So I think it's really useful for efficiency, and like Annabelle also was mentioning, like being efficient and also being fast. And I think these kind of tools are really exactly what someone needs on QA, to be fast and to address problems like at the right time. Um, right now, I wanted to ask you all to just fill a survey. We will be sending it right now in a bit. But before that, we wanted to open the space for a Q&A. And I saw a comment that I'm gonna put on screen that I want everyone to get involved, because um, it's really interesting. It's asking, Annie is asking if we have any recommendations on how to start implementing AI on their QA teams. And I think it's a great question, because always like the start is very difficult, and you don't know where to start, you don't know how to do it, you don't know with whom like to do it. So I would just like for all of us to chime in. And also, I think this is good for Annabelle, because she was talking on how she hasn't settled for an AI tool, and I think she also tried a lot of them. And you've told me, Annabelle, a lot of experiences with different tools, and I know you've been through that process like many times from the other side. And Pablo and Rob are doing it from the other end. So I think it will be good to explore it.
Hey, Annabelle, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Maria. But so recommendations on how to start AI in AI QA, in implementing on the QA process. I think for me it's, well, it depends on what verticals are you running. Sometimes QA process is very specific to the campaign. You have a different parameters that you need. You have a different set of questions you need to ask based on the campaign that you're running. So I would say start with the. We usually do it with the campaigns that we need most help with on the QA, especially the ones that we're getting a lot more calls to, that we really need help, and no amount of staff or people could QA the number of calls that we're generating. I think I would definitely start with that, because at the end of the day, we're using AI not just to help with the reporting and the proper dispositions, and as Rob was saying, I know agents disposition calls, not 100% accurate, but also with the speed. And that's just for me, because in Ring Lab Media, that's our main need, to be able to QA calls as fast as we can. We provide QA feedbacks to our publishers if we can, weekly, even daily if possible, because we want to be on top of the quality of leads that are coming to our platform and to our buyers.
Yeah, and to add to that, I did a lot of QA myself back in the day, and also utilizing all these AI tools. What I would say is always start small, and what I mean by that is have a small sample, maybe attach your best QA person who's been doing this for a long time, who really knows the vertical, as Annabelle mentioned, and all the things that to look for, and then you utilize Unscript or Quicksilver, whatever works for you, to have it do transcription or run it, and then let the AI come up with an outcome. And then but you need a human person to go back and see if the AI is actually predicting the right outcome, and then you need an individual to kind of QA that part of it, right? And so as the accuracy goes up, and then when you have the confidence, then now you can scale, and then you can just full force do it. So I mean that's based on how we've been operating. Even way before, I used to be at this company called Visicla, and then and even back, I was head of pay per call there, and we were using like a transcription service, even, but it's never accurate. Even Invoca, which is like this other platform that used to be available a long time ago, they like towards the end, before they moved on to focus on enterprise level customers and not with the network, they implemented this like an AI tool, and we used it. But at the end of the day, the reason why human was there was because you have to also QA the outcome of whatever the AI presented. So, but maybe Rob has something more interesting to touch on that, because this is like more like archaic, like the older version of AI. Perhaps like, I mean, we're using Unscript now ourselves, and I see a big jump since last time I utilized like transcription AI services. So maybe like there's a better practice than how I've been using it, because it's been like 3-4 years at least. So
You are mute, Rob.
No.
No, we cannot hear you.
Rob, you're muted. I think you're talking, but it's muted.
What about now?
oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All sorts of technological difficulties from the guy who has an AI business. Go figure. What I was saying is, like, I think like Andrew said, when there's advances in technology, we kind of want to lean into that. And whether it's OnScript or Quicksilver or another AI QC platform, my recommendation is to explore them. One of the benefits of OnScript for somebody who has no experience in QC is you get a team of people that will help you build out the campaign to your specifications. They come from QC land, so they understand what you're trying to accomplish. And I think one of the main benefits of OnScript that I love is that we give everybody a pilot, a trial. We want people that are going to use the platform to know exactly what the value is, what they're getting. And we don't make anybody pay to be a member until they're confident of what we say we can do. So I think if you're going the AI route, find companies who are not going to tie you down to long-term contracts, who may offer a trial so you actually know what you're getting, and let them guide you through the process until you familiarize yourself and are more comfortable with what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to go the route of starting small, using humans, I like Andrew's recommendation of starting small, pick a campaign. And I think it just starts with looking at the script, right? I think first things first, just making sure that the agents are saying what they're supposed to be saying. It's very basic QA, right? From there, you can layer things in like, how do they sound? What's the outcome? Things like that. But I think just very basically just breaking down your script into the components of what you want the agent to say and what you want the agent not to say is a very easy way to start a QC process. And then just making sure that you're able to quantify your analysis so you can rank order agents, and it's not just all subjective. This was a good call. So building a scorecard that has point values associated with it is important as well. And I guess the only thing I'll say about, leveraging just transcription models is, yes, if you use the right transcription models, and there's plenty of them out there, and we know the good, the bad, and the ugly, the advancements in transcription accuracy, even over the last year, have been. I remember when I first started OnScript, we started 2 years ago commercializing the product. I'm trying to offer this to my friends in the industry, and they're like, "Wow, that's not what he said. The transcription was so bad. It was so bad. Not so bad, but there was more inaccuracies and more accuracies, and that's just not the case anymore." So I think taking advantage even of using the transcription models out there to speed up your ability to QC is a good tool as well if you're going to go the human route. So yeah, that's what I think.
Great.
What else?
Okay. Amanda, are there any? I mean, we have 3 minutes. Are there any other questions out there?
Going once, going twice.
Okay. Well,
All right.
then, yeah. Well, so then I just want to thank everybody for joining our first webinar. Thank you very much for Annabelle and also Rob to join us, as well as Pablo on our team, and thank you, Amanda, for hosting. And we have a next one already coming up, which is we haven't set a date yet. In August, we'll be featuring two tracking platform providers and their CEO. One is Standard Information with Greg Dobak, and then Retriever CEO, Phil. So looking forward to hosting them in August. And also, we're going to send out the survey, and so please fill it out. We'd love to get your feedback on what type of content you like to hear, just anything. And also, if you want to get in touch with any of us, especially our guests, both RingLab and Rob at OnScript, please feel free to reach out to us, and then we'll make sure to hand off the contact appropriately. So thank you very much for joining today.
Thanks for having us, Andrew. It's been a good time the last hour. Thanks for joining. All right.
Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.